Welcome back, guys. We hope you guys are having an amazing time. Remember, Morning Buzzer is brought to you by Kellogg's Cornflakes, Cocoa Puffs, and Indomie Noodles. This is that one show you do not want to miss for anything. Today on this amazing segment, we will be talking about the essence of organic farm produce. And our amazing guest is the founder of Okwe Farms in the person of Mrs. Olushola Sowemimo. Yeah. How you doing, Wow?
How you doing?
I try to put the Yoruba style into the Sowemimo. Yeah. How you doing, Wow?
Very well, thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you for having me.
How's
it's a pleasure. Thank you.
How's Lagos traffic between?
Well, I left home early now,
okay.
So
I
was able to beat it.
Not it, like some people.
Some people.
I really hate to be late for any event. So.
Wow.
Oh,
that's a nice
they
one.
need to learn that. Okay, well, today we're talking about the essence of organic farm produce. So I'm going to start with you explaining to us the impact of organic fertilizer on farm produce.
So let me start by saying that the organic farming itself has 4 principles.
Okay, well.
And it's really these principles that guide us in the production of everything that we do. So we have the principle of health. Okay. You have to consider the health of the soil, the health of the people, the environment where you're even producing. You think of the health of those who will eat it and the health of your workers who are on the farm. Then we go on to caring. Do we care about the earth? Do we care about the people who will eat it? Do we care about those who will produce it? So I've gone health, I've gone caring, then the environment, the ecology of the place where we farm. People are always shocked when I tell them things like, we don't kill snakes. They're like, whoa, how would you do that? I said, because we respect each other. The snails go on their, the snakes go on their own, we go on our own. Oh yes, in this year will be 10 years. I've only seen a snake once, and there are very many of them.
Sorry, do you kill cockroaches?
Interestingly, we rarely have cockroaches. There's nothing for them on the farm. Okay. We have rats, we have bush meat. What was that? Grass cutter. Yes. And then, so I've gone C, I've gone H, I've gone E, and fairness. Okay. Are we fair to the environment? Are we fair to the people? Are we fair? So those things then make us appreciate the inputs for organic food. It does not have chemicals in it. There is even no room for you to use chemicals. So when we talk of fertilizer for organic, we're talking of the fertilizer from natural resources. Okay. And you'll be surprised to know that practically every natural thing you eat can go back into the soil as fertilizer. Because it's like the food we eat, we eat to nourish our body. That is the way those things go back to the soil to become fertilizer, to regenerate the soil. And of course, the food that they produce can only be the best for the body. So no chemical. We don't use synthetic fertilizer, for instance. None at all. I've never seen it in my life.
But we have people that actually use this.
Oh yes, because that's what they know. That's what they know. You know, when you go into producing food, it's almost like it's something that is almost personal to you, is innate to you. There are foods I don't eat just because I know that they are synthetic laden. And to some, it doesn't matter. So it's really a choice for everyone.
You were talking about, you said something that the snakes go their way.
You're not going to forget that in a hurry.
So I'm imagining to the cockroaches go their way too. So now, my question is, what are some common pests that disturb farm produce?
Oh, those ones, you'll be surprised that even human beings can be a pest on a farm, especially an organic farm.
You're right.
There was, when I was new in farming, a gentleman came and he had just smoked. I could smell the smoke of the cigarette from him, but I didn't think it had anything to do with me until he left and all the tomatoes along the line he walked collapsed.
Wow.
From
because of the tobacco.
For real.
It was too strong for them.
But he wasn't smoking in the farm.
He wasn't, but he had just finished smoking,
Finished
obviously,
smoking.
because when he came, he was reeking,
Okay.
he was oozing of that smoke. So that's why I say even human beings can be a pest to us. Animals can be a pest to us. Sometimes you grow some things that the grass cutter would find interesting and would want to eat. But otherwise, we have to deal with things like aphids, grasshoppers. There are quite a number of pests that disturb us. But over time, when we know what you're doing, we have a way of keeping each other, at bay. And then some particular pests eat others.
Oh.
So, for instance, I think, is it the snake that eats for instance, the chickens, they eat the grasshopper. We also raise chickens naturally. So sometimes when the grasshoppers come, especially when the farm has been abandoned for a while, we just send our chickens out and they eat the grasshoppers.
Wow.
Just like that.
I like that.
So
like
sometimes, most times we allow nature to take its course.
To take its course.
Yes,
That's
but
good.
sometimes we just don't have a choice. We need to get rid of those pests. We have aphids. We have there's quite a number of them that we have to get rid of. But the grasshoppers can be quite, even armyworm. Armyworm is one of the deadliest. If you have armyworm in a cornfield, they can raise it to nothing by morning.
Wow.
And usually armyworm are your butterflies, as beautiful as they are. But when they're still in that stage of armyworm, they eat non-stop for 20 days. So that's why if they find themselves in a cornfield, you are done for.
They're feeding.
I've heard a lot of people say they don't really make enough from having this farm around their corner because pests destroy something or what's your advice? What would you say? What can they do? Because a lot of people are not aware.
Yes. And it's the reason why many farmers would rather use chemicals.
Chemicals, yes.
Number one, chemicals are cheaper. A can of chemical in this size of this, I don't know the price now, but at one time it was 600, 800 naira. And with it, they could spray maybe 1 acre of land, just like that. But for people like us, we go natural. In fact, when we're mixing our pesticide, you'll be wondering if you're going to have a drink. Because we could use things like ginger, garlic, we start mixing it and you're wondering.
So obviously naturally it's not expensive, or it's more expensive than the chemicals.
It's more work too.
Okay.
Because you can imagine if you wanted to make a pesticide from ginger and garlic, it means you have
peel
to
and
either grill,
peel,
you take time, then you ferment it. So what we tend to do is that we have them ready made on standby.
Okay.
And then we use different ones because natural pesticides are not as vicious as chemicals. So, it's like when you tap a child, stop it. It's different from when you go and get a big cane.
Yeah.
With natural, it's almost like stop it. So they go away. Then they come back like 3 days after. But what's up here? Anything new? So what we do is that we change.
Okay.
So something like neem. Anything neem. Neem is what is popularly known as dongoyaro. The one that when you have fever, they give you and it's very, very bitter. We also use that. So we use the leaf, we use the oil. The oil is one of the most potent that we use. So what we do is that we vary them. And then things as simple as rabbit urine. It's amazing. It's actually a pesticide. It's a pesticide and it's a fertilizer. Even rabbit poo, chicken poo, cow poo, those are all natural fertilizers for us, that we use.
Okay, I have a question for you. Remember, we're still with the founder of Okpe Farms. So, and I have another question for you. Fertilizers, generally as a whole, do they have? Are they really defects of fertilizers on farm produce?
Okay, everybody uses the word fertilizer. It's not. It's a good word. But it depends on what constitutes that fertilizer. So for us, our fertilizer will be, let's say we all have bananas just now. We would take all the peels back to the farm. That's fertilizer for our soil. She probably cooks, you remove some vegetables and say, these ones are not good, they don't look nice enough. We'll carry it. Because what we then do is that we have a way of treating it and then it becomes food to our soil, and then we call them fertilizer. So what fertilizers do is that they enrich the soil. You know, the soil after a while is prone to a lot of losses. Even rainfall. The rainfall can have an impact on good soil. Because what it does is that it will leach, and all the nutrients in your soil is washed away when you have torrential rain. So fertilizer is good in that it helps you to scale up the value of that particular soil. So it is a good thing. In all, it's a good thing. It's just that for us who farm organically, we do not use a synthetic fertilizer. Because synthetic fertilizer, if you use synthetic fertilizer continuously, I'm told that after about 2 years, that soil is gone. And that's why people have to keep using them. You have to keep using the synthetic one. Now, if you use synthetic fertilizer constantly and you want to transform, or well, you want to change to organic, you have to leave that soil fallow for 3 years.
Wow.
Yes, before the synthetic effect can wear out.
Won't it die?
Sorry?
Won't it die?
Well, the soil would, you know, the soil is natural. So when you leave it alone, it would regenerate. And don't forget that if you put a microscope to soil, you're going to see so many things in the soil. Even the nutrients in the soil, there are about 16 of them. Everybody just talks about NPK, which is nitrogen, phosphorus. They just talk of those. But really, there are other little elements which the peel of your banana, the skin of your orange, that vegetable you didn't use, which they would nourish the soil with when they come there.
Talking about fertilizer, does fertilizer make crop healthy, or is it just a crop booster?
It depends. If it is natural, then it adds to the nutrient density of the food that you are actually growing.
Okay.
But I do not use synthetic fertilizer, so I cannot speak for it, but I know that when they first start using it, it boosts their yield. They are happy. But hey, with time, and organic is the other way around. When you put most things in your soil, you know, when you put organic matter in your soil, it takes time. But when it kicks in, it might take like 2 weeks to kick in, but when it kicks in, you will see the difference. So you find out that the same soil continues to even give you more. While on the other hand, if it's synthetic, it starts to give you less.
Okay. So is there anything like over fertilization? You know, is there anything like too much fertilizer, or are there negative effects or positive effects and all of that?
With nature, there is hardly over fertilization because it keeps giving what it should at the point in time. And this is where soil tests is very important, because it's only when you conduct your soil test that you will actually know the value of the soil you have. And that's why when people say, oh, we're going to use virgin land for something, they don't even need fertilizer. Because virgin land is almost like perfect. Everything is still intact. So that's why some farmers, they prefer to keep looking for virgin land everywhere. Today they find virgin land, they grow, they leave it, they go elsewhere again. Because the soil that the Almighty Father created was supposed to be perfect. But with time, constant harvesting and all of that, we need fertilizer, which is food for the soil, to go back into it, to nourish it and bring it back to speed.
Okay, let's do a practical work here. It's paining me now. We don't have tomato again now. Okay, so I have 2 different tomato again now. How do I identify which one
is the synthetic fertilizer?
Thank you.
I can't
which
help
one
you. No, the reason is that you just have to know your farmer.